Rakhee. Good. Hello, Rakhee. Good. Bit of lockdown madness, as usual. Oh dear. And I wonder if we are joined by anyone. I wonder if anybody has found us yet. Because it looks like I'm just going to hang on for half a second to see if we can find where you all are. Right, I've seen somebody's written they can't find it. Hmm. Hello. Probably. Well, I tell you what, guys, could you please give us a thumbs up, a hello, or a sign of life if you can see us, because it's one of these technology things, and now, as Dirish has told us, Mercury is in retrograde, so anything is possible with technology, travel, communication, misunderstandings, signed contracts, you name it. So, can you see us? Is anybody out there? Good, good. So we are live, and can you all see Rakhee as well? We need some hellos. Anyway, Rakhee, how are you doing this Mercury retrograde in February in lockdown? Mhm. Oh, Debbie, you can see us. Yes, thanks, Debbie. Oh, I'm showing up in two boxes, Laura says. Great, we've come across that problem again. Oh, my goodness. Right. Can't see Rakhee, two of me. That's not what we want. Rakhee, are you able to do that fix that we did a second ago? Are you guys here, Rakhee? Yeah, we need some feedback from you guys. Two of me is not what we want. Can you see? Can you hear Rakhee, everyone? Hmm. Are you back? Yes. You know what? Yes, both of us now. We're on. Right. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Debbie. So tell us about your small steps, Rakhee. Give us a quick. Thank you. To me, that sounds very echoey and not good. How does that sound to everybody else? Yeah, very echoey to me.
Still sounding echoey?
Why don't you put the headphones back in? It's like that thing. I put them in and out. Try again.
You sound less echoey. Oh, yeah. Cat echoing sounds from Kat, and I'm not. And it does sound echoey your end, so
it's not fair. Let's change some settings.
Oh, someone said sound, just heard Rakhee and sound is better. Lots of reverb from the two cats.
Oh dear.
Have you got two cats again?
Let's see if that's any better.
Oh, yes, look. Yay, Rakhee is here. Can hear Rakhee now and echoing far less. So
cool.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
Well, we did say it was retrograde season, so here we are. Anything is possible. But if we're slightly less echoey, if we bearable, are you guys with us? If we're bearable, then we'll carry on. But if you guys think that it would just be more relaxing to not listen to us, Kat put headphones in.
So, yeah.
So do you think we should carry on, guys? It's much better. Thank you, Debbie. In which case we'll carry on. Thank you, Laura. We will get there indeed. I'm aware that we're eating into your precious time.
Why don't we just start by taking a breath or two, and we'll plunge straight into a short meditation. I was just going to suggest, if people want to grab a sheet of paper and a pencil, we might move straight from a meditation into a little bit of journaling. And at the end of all that, we will all feel superbly calm. So I think when in doubt, breathe a little is definitely my mantra, my top tip. So if everyone wants to grab paper and pen, and if you don't have that handy, don't worry, we can think through what I'm saying, and we can improvise. So when you're ready, come to a nice comfortable seated position. You can be in a chair, and in fact, I know last time we were doing this, we had some people out walking at the same time, and if you're walking, that's great as well. Turn this into a mindful walking meditation, or you could stand. So come to a really comfortable position that you can spend a few moments in, and lower your gaze, or you can close your eyes if that feels good. And it might feel great because we've all been staring at screens so much. And take a nice, comfortable breath, and perhaps after that shaky start, sigh it out through your mouth. And a couple more like that. Breathing in and exhaling through your mouth. And one more like that. Breathing in and exhaling it all out. And continue to breathe steadily and really feel into your base. So how are your feet finding the ground beneath you? And allow this sense to move up your legs. How are your legs doing? You may not have thought or visited your legs today. So as we move up the body, are you perhaps able to take a breath or two into the different areas I'm naming and give it a moment of appreciation or love to these parts of the body? And I know some of us find it very difficult to be in our bodies, and there are parts of our bodies we aren't best friends with. But as we move through these parts, just sense how you feel about this part, and notice if that feeling is pleasant or unpleasant, and just allow that to be, and acknowledge it, and say hello. So say hello to your legs, and as you move up, move into your torso. And how do you feel today? Do you feel spacious? As we're at lunchtime, so I ate before we started, but you might be doing this through your lunch break, in which case you might be feeling a little hungry. And move on up towards the heart. And how does your heart feel? Is it feeling constricted or open? Are you feeling steady in your heart space? Are you holding a lot of different, maybe conflicting emotions here? And move now up through your throat into your head. And this is where we can really tune into our senses. So how is your mouth? How is your jaw? Is it clenched? Is it soft? Are you able to soften a little? Can you taste anything? What is it you taste? Is it pleasant or unpleasant? Maybe you're tasting this morning's coffee or this afternoon's lunch. Maybe you can't quite taste anything. Just sense into what is there. And then think about how fortunate we are to be able to discern all these different tastes that we experience through the day, and maybe acknowledge how hard your mouth works. We talk through it, we sometimes breathe through it, we eat through it, and send a moment of gratitude to your mouth. And how is your breathing doing? Can you smell anything? Or is your nose a little blocked? And if you can smell anything, what is it you smell? Is your reaction to that one of this, yay, this is lovely and pleasant? Or is it one of, oh, funny smell? And if it's blocked, acknowledge that. And then perhaps a moment of love for our noses. We don't often think about our noses and all the hard work they do for us, but how amazing that we are able to breathe in all these smells, and our noses and our mouths work together for a sense of smell and taste that are so enmeshed. And moving on to your eyes, are they soft in their eye sockets? Are you able to sense the light behind your eyes if they're closed? And spend a moment of gratitude towards your eyes that allow you to take in so much information every day. And moving on to your ears now. What is it you can hear? So you might be listening to my voice. You might like listening to my voice. Or it might be that my voice isn't one that you particularly enjoy listening to, but acknowledge whatever reaction you have. Note it as of interest. And then notice everything your ears do for you every day, as well as allowing and filtering sounds in and out. They allow you to balance. And it might be that your hearing doesn't feel as strong as it once was, but acknowledge all the work your ears do on a daily basis. And take a couple more breaths here. And take a moment to think over the last few weeks where we've been spending time on small steps and we've been taking our own small steps. And notice how you feel about what you've achieved, what you've done, what you've explored, and what you still might have to explore, and how you feel about this process that you have been through. And we're going to take a couple more breaths here, and in a moment I'm going to ask you to take up your paper and pen, and I'm going to lead you through a couple of prompts around small steps, which hopefully will feel a part of this meditation. So take one more breath here, and when you are ready, blink open your eyes and grab your paper and pencil, which should hopefully be nearby. And if you don't have paper and pen, note some of these in your mind, and maybe write down what has been your most proud achievement during small steps. So your proudest small steps achievement, if you like. And you can just make a quick note of that. And you can return to these and spend longer with them. If you want to spend some time maybe later today writing a bit more about each of these. And then the second thing I want you to think about is anything you want to take forward from small steps. So it might be loads of things, or it might be just one very small thing. It could be a feeling, it could be an action. So I know that a lot of you have been writing in the movers group about how much you're enjoying committing to a daily class. So it could be that, or it could just be a feeling of being involved in this community. And then finally, did you gain any insights by doing the course? So is there anything new or different you could learn, something that came to you during the course and you thought, oh, I'd love to learn more about that, or something new or different you could pursue? So just jot those down. Kat has disappeared off screen currently, so hopefully you can still see me. And
guys, I'm wondering if you can... My computer completely crashed out of the blue. Sorry. I wonder if you can hear Rakhee. Is Rakhee still there? I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can get Rakhee back. Rakhee, yes, you've disappeared. Rakhee, can you come back? Thank you. Oh, I was really spacing out on that really beautiful reflection. I'd love to find out how it is that you guys have been doing. Oh, here's Rakhee. Good. Hi, Rakhee.
hi there.
Oh,
So, oh, it's all really echo.
oh, I can see that, but not Rakhee.
I'm going to try.
Rakhee, you're
join.
Rakhee is on her way back. I'm so sorry, guys. This is... Hi.
I'm back, hopefully.
No, I can't hear you, Rakhee. Okay. Rakhee, where are we?
Okay. It's very echoey.
Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. It looks like we have got some feedback going on. Rakhee, let's try again. Okay, that's not right. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have terrible feedback on Rakhee. That didn't work out. This isn't very good. I tell you what, I'm very, very glad that this is small steps and not giant leaps, because yes, great. I can see you, or are there now two of me? Have we? Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that's good. Hopefully everyone else can see and hear me.
Guys, can you just say, give us a thumbs up if you can see and hear Rakhee, and if this is working for you. And I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for being patient. And thank you, Kate, for your kind words. It's very trying when things bug us like this. Luckily, working with computers, we're used to it.
So, well, luckily, hopefully everyone got to the end of that reflection, and I have something I want you to do with that, but I'll save that for now and remind you of that at the end. But really, I just thought we could spend a little time delving into some of that, and anything you wanted to share. I think we've talked about the importance of being accountable, and not just really so much the importance of it, but how helpful that is. So, Kat, was there anything that any insights you've had from small steps, or any feelings that it's brought up that you really want to take forward into life?
Oh, good. I'm glad it's working out. The sound is now good. Thanks, Laura. So for me, in the small steps, I've actually found something a little bit different and what I hadn't quite expected to. So doing the daily yoga classes is something that for me, that's something that I'm used to, and especially in lockdown, I've got nowhere else to go or nothing else to do. The daily yoga class is something that I've found is useful. But the new small step that I have found is I started the year saying to myself, right, I'm going to restart my meditation practice. I'm going to practice every morning at 7 before the start of the day. That didn't go so well. I'm going to just share that with you. I didn't manage to do that. But what I have decided to do, and what has been working well, is I have incorporated a yoga nidra now into my day every day. And I do it in the mid-afternoon slump. So after I have lunch, return to the desk, might do an hour or so work, and then I'll feel really sleepy. And now I'm doing a yoga nidra in that slot, because I really find that for me, that's a lovely way of accessing the meditation. It's very restorative. It's regaining me back to my heart. And it's short. I'm only doing it for 15 minutes a day. But for me, that yoga nidra feels like a really important small step to making this whole working at home on our own life sustainable, manageable. We've got
Kate, yeah, and that's really lovely. And Kate says that she's really pleased she's practiced, and she's occasionally ditched the recommended class because she's needed something else. And I think that's a really smart way to practice, and in fact practice all the courses and challenges, because only you know your own body and what you need on that day. And I put together a lot of the class courses rather for everyone, so it's really good to listen to your own body and what you need. And it's brilliant that you've found what you've needed for each day, and in fact, I'd say that's a really lovely thing to take away, that you can practice every day, but your practice doesn't need to look the same every day.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really important thing, is that not to be afraid to mix it up and not be afraid to choose something different. Because the other nice thing maybe about going through the small steps course is that we learn a bit more to listen to what our bodies are needing. And I think that the temptation, especially when sort of live classes restart, is that we'll be like, oh, okay, we're doing the 7:30 class with Rakhee because that's what I do. And it's fine to do that, but to really listen to your body when you're doing that practice, and just because the teacher is teaching a certain pose, to not necessarily do it. And that's not a bad thing to the teacher. It's just right now on this day, that pose doesn't feel as supportive as doing something else. And I think that's the most important sort of lesson for ourselves almost throughout this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think redefining what doing yoga every day means for you is probably what, like, one of those key learnings that I've taken away, because I try and do something, but it doesn't always look the same. And I found that sometimes you can make yourself do the class or do whatever it is you normally do, and then at the end you find that you haven't really practiced because you've just been going through the motions. So it's better to do something that really supports you and boosts you. And I was just thinking about what you were saying about the yoga nidra, Kat. Have you been practicing the same nidras, or have you also been changing those depending on what you feel you need on any given day?
No, it has to be said that right now, for sort of the start, because I'm only a couple of weeks into it, I have been doing the same one every day, because I find that it's almost sort of more relaxing for me, because I kind of know where it's going. It's not like a surprise, and I feel that it's quite a sort of supportive, it's Uma's, and I feel that it's a very sort of nourishing, supportive one, and that it's not like, okay, I now have to set my intention, I now have to do all the, I don't have to do anything. All I need to do is rest. And that's also really lovely.
Yeah, and I think that is really important. I think Kate is echoing that, saying when I'm teaching online and working from home, it's been even more precious to create that space for myself. And she's also been enjoying yoga nidra, and I think that is, the key lesson. And in fact, doing that familiarity or going back to something familiar is so good. And even though you know what's coming up, it's never the same, is it? Because you're not the same, and everything is different. So I think that's a really helpful thing to take away. And so are you planning to continue with the needs for as long as you need them?
Absolutely. And I think that even when sort of normal life, if and when normal life carries on, I think that I'm now seeing that it's a really integral part to staying connected. It's part of it is staying rested, because I know that my nervous system, I'm a little bit on edge. The world situation has got me a little bit edgy, and I can feel that I'm a little bit angsty. So I feel that it's something that really does settle me into myself. And the other thing is that even from a sort of, this is from a business owner sort of whatever perspective, but I'm feeling myself making better decisions, because I feel sort of more relaxed, I'm making this decision from my heart, not from a feeling of fear or panic or should. But yeah, I think that this is the right thing, kind of, which is a sort of different, it comes from a different place. So I think even it's affecting my work life in a good way as well.
And I was curious if, so I think there's a lot that's wrapped up actually in what you're saying about the yoga nidra, and in fact my next question leads on really nicely from thinking about yoga nidras, because they're very helpful to really understand kind of what's going on the inside. And so I think one of the questions I had in my prompts was whether you've had any insights about new things you want to pursue, or things you are curious about, or if you've had any other insights over small steps. And it sounds like your greatest insight has been around the importance of rest, but is there anything else that's come up that you sort of think, that's interesting, I'm going to pursue that? And that goes for everyone that's listening. If there's anything that you sort of thought, I did that class and they talked about something, and I'm going to go think a bit more about that. So should we start with what your thoughts are, Kat?
Well, I took a lot from Adam's live class, because for me, the classes on the small steps are classes which I'm very familiar with. They're classes which I do a lot, and I think the practice of doing them a lot is good. But for example, for me, like the Norman's yin just reaches a very special spot. Adam's evening recharge. So for me, the evening classes seem more important than ever, because it's like in the daytime, I'm feeling I don't want that jolt. I don't want that extra sort of energize. I just want the evening proper wind down, because I'm just feeling sort of frazzled at the moment.
And I'm curious, because you mentioned the evening classes, and I'm curious to know if you do them in the evening or do them earlier in the day, because although we stick evening on them, they can be done at any time you want to feel that kind of wind down of, as you said, a frazzle maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm very traditional. I do them in the because also I have that thing about the happy hour, which I really enjoy. You know, after you sort of finished working at your desk, and before you go on to the next phase, which is like dinner and wind down and spend time with your partner, family. I kind of like that as a time to reset. And for me, that's quite important as well, because I think it goes with the sort of working at home and the feeling at the moment of, there's a general feeling of anxiety. I don't want to take the anxiety that I have when I'm at my desk into the home, which obviously I do, because we all do, but it's kind of a trying. It's an intention for me. It's an intention to draw a line on it and start anew.
And and so I think what I've been noticing, because I think all our days are looking very similar now, aren't they? Day on day, but I have noticed that I'm practicing at different times, not always because the label of the class tells me to, but I think there are just some days where I just think I want to spend a bit longer or not so much, and I think that's really about understanding yourself a little more and what you need. And I think there's a great comfort in that consistency and the routine of doing it every day at the same time. And yet, even in spite of all our lockdownness, it's not always possible to always do something at the same time every day, but I am making time to do something. I do meditate every morning, and most mornings I also journal, and so that does stay fixed, because if I don't do that first thing, that is something that I won't do. Whereas a more physical practice, I will fit in somewhere else. And so, go on. You were about to say something.
Well, no, I'm now just looking at other people's comments, because it's interesting. It's interesting to hear how other people are finding this, because Kate is saying that I've not followed the recommendation. As you were saying, I think that's a really interesting thing, to have the confidence to listen to your body is really, that's sort of the real making of a yogi, isn't it? That's the real thing. And I think Debbie's got an interesting point. It's helped me realize the benefit of taking time for ourselves. My job can be busy and stressful, and a crazy toddler, and benefited to having a little bit of time to myself and feel more relaxed. And I can't imagine lockdown with a toddler. It must be hard. So good for you for taking that time for yourself, because I bet, to be honest, your family thanks you for it, as well as you and your body, because it's a hard time, especially with a little one. And yeah, and Kate's saying the same. When I'm teaching online and working from home, it's been more precious to create space for yourself, and yoga nidras too. And the yoga nidras that I've been doing are on the site with Uma, and it's the premenstrual yoga nidra. And I like the premenstrual yoga nidra because, and it is that thing of not having to look at what it says on the tin. What I like about it is it's very grounding. It's kind of takes into account that you're feeling angsty and upset. And to be honest, I'm feeling a bit premenstrual every day right now. So it's really good. I really like that time to really deeply release and nurture. So that's the one that I've been doing. And Kate, I've been enjoying the evening practices. Even on a day where I've done a day class, I've been taking my own wind down practice before bed. Yeah, it's very beneficial, I think, to have that evening wind down. Like I say, I think it just helps all of us. It helps our mental health and our families and loved ones as well.
And in fact, I think that kind of ties in with that sense of having a routine. I think we talk a lot, and I'm sure I have a memory of saying this on a live before as well. But I think we think a lot about our morning routine. So it's like we'll get up and do whatever and do our yoga, and then. But I think quite often we sacrifice having an evening routine, a routine at the other end of the day. It's like, oh, we'll watch some telly and fall into bed, and there isn't that same kind of very conscious evening wind down, and I think that is important, and the allowing the time. And it's interesting because this is the second year we're doing small steps, and I think what people were taking away with them last year and what we're now taking away this year is so different, because I think we've been through a real process over the past year, and I think just understanding that even though we're maybe spending more time at home, it's how we spend it, and making those small moments for ourselves that is really valuable. And I just mentioned I do a daily meditation, but it's really interesting that some of what I've been exploring recently is really how it is that we can make what we're experiencing feel different for ourselves. So it's exactly what you're saying, taking that time in the evening to really unwind helps the experience for you, but also all those around you. And so you're making that mood. It's not being done unto you by lockdown. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's right. And it's really sort of being able to identify our emotions easier and be able to, because obviously I think this time has given us a lot more time for looking inwards, or if not time, because most of us are still just as busy. It's given us the sort of physical space to look inwards more. So you're absolutely right, being more aware of the impact that we're having on other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to suggest we do something a little bit practical again now, and it's that we've had a little discussion now about the impact of small steps, and I was going to suggest that if people want to take a couple of minutes now to write a message to yourself and remind yourself of your achievements, because it sounds like everyone's achieved a great deal over this time of committing to small steps. And even if your achievement is making that commitment, and even if you only did, I don't know, 3 classes, you've still made that commitment to being present for your practice. So note down what your achievements are, and then maybe suggest something in your message to yourself, something small that you can do for yourself that will really nourish you. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is this is a note to your future self. So I'm going to ask you, and you might just want to do the writing bit now, because you won't necessarily have the time to do the logistics. But if you can schedule an email to yourself to roughly arrive in a month's time, or hide your note somewhere, stick it in an envelope, seal it, and put a date when it should be opened, and hide it somewhere. And then hopefully set yourself a reminder to find it, or maybe just randomly hide it somewhere, and when you find it is when you find it. Or give that note to another member of your household and say, can you give this to me in a month's time? And so make it a really loving note, reminding yourself of what you've achieved, and maybe the small thing you can do to nourish yourself. And then in a month's time, I'm going to keep a lookout in the movers group, and I want to see all these little random messages popping up about with telling us what it is you've done. And it can be anything, you know. It could be that in a month's time you think you want to try the most challenging class you can find on Movement for Modern Life, or it might be that you're going to sit out in the garden and have a cup of coffee and hopefully the sunshine. So I'll give you a minute or so just to make those notes. And of course, you might not be able to write the whole thing in the minute. So it doesn't have to be a rush note. It could be a really loving note to yourself that you complete at a later point today. But I would say don't leave it too long, because you'll have a tendency to want to make it perfect. Write something kind, and put it aside, or make sure you can somehow send it to yourself. And normally I'd suggest posting it to yourself, but that's probably a bit more challenging at the moment. So I quite like, you know, the thought of finding it amongst your cups in a few weeks' time, or under your bag of rice, or wherever it is. And so, yeah, you might just want to finish taking a couple of notes now and finish it off. But was there anything else you wanted to add, Kat, or anyone else? If you've got any other thoughts or questions, I know it's unfortunately, sorry everyone that we had those technical glitches, but I'm also aware it's lunchtime. I don't want to take up too much of your lunch break. But if anyone's got any other questions or thoughts, just pop them in the comment box now. Or Kat, if you have anything else you wanted to add.
Sorry, more technical. The thing I wanted to add was that I wanted to really, for me, focus on the sustainability of my practice, and the fact that, you know, hopefully my body is here for the long haul, and as is my mental health, and it is to just go a little bit easier on myself. I think this is what the small steps for me has really brought home, because I'm very much one who's wanting to sort of make bigger, grander plans and intentions like that. And I think actually just doing a tiny bit of something that looks like nothing every day is actually going to be the answer. So for me, sticking to the yoga nidra on a daily basis, doing it as a restorative afternoon. And I was speaking to Uma, and she tops and tails her day with yoga nidra, which I think is marvelous, but I can't imagine not falling asleep if I was doing it that way. But for me, finding that ability, that one thing that enables me to reset so that I'm less reactive, I'm able to make better decisions, I'm able to be more focused, and I'm also just able to be more present in life, because kind of that's my big aim, is I just want to be awake for every day, every moment. I think for me, that's the thing that will really help. Yeah, so I think it's nice having the community to talk to and to be able to sort of share things with. And maybe if any of you guys wanted to try doing, whatever your daily practice that is going to be sustainable, that's going to help you, be the practice for the next decade, next couple of decades. I think that's a lovely way of sort of seeing it. What about you, Rakhee? What have you found?
I think the thing I found is this kind of sense of, or a deeper understanding of the fact that our yoga practice is cumulative, and by yoga practice I don't just mean asana. So whatever it is we do make us feel more human, be more human, is cumulative. And so, I think it's great that we commit to doing it every day, but I've also seen where people are beating themselves up for not doing that. And in fact, I know when you first start, you're going to feel so amazing, and you're like, wow, this stuff is really amazing. But I think it's really interesting that years later, you really see that it's not only does it make you feel better, but it helps how you respond to things. But it's not that, unfortunately, is not a quick fix. So it really is a matter of committing to doing it over the years. And in that time, of course, there'll be moments you don't do it. But I actually think the real skill is in coming back and saying, okay, I didn't do it. And rather than actually then spending the next week beating yourself, I'd have missed one, so I couldn't possibly start again, and beat up. Just come back to it, and then, that is, I think, the skill. So I think it's about saying, if you don't do what you set out to do, is to forgive yourself and have another go. So I think that's really the thing I'm taking away, is that I think, a bit like you, Kat, I can come in and say, I'm going to do this and this and this, and in fact, actually, I think I'm discovering the joy of doing a bit less, and also the joy of going back to the things I really enjoy. So I think we've talked a lot, haven't we, today, about going back to the classes, or the things that we know are helpful to us. And it's weird, because you might do something through this phase, not look at that class again for another 3 years, and then you might have a moment and you think, God, that was good, I'm going to go back and rediscover it. So I think it's understanding things are cyclical, but they take time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Rakhee. I think that's really nice to know, and it's just really kind and compassionate on ourselves. And I think that is really, if there's one message to leave us with, it's that. So I think that's a good one. Thank you. I really appreciate you all joining us here and being so kind and compassionate to us with our technical glitches, our computer problems. Life is sometimes like that, but thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And do continue talking in the movers group, continue updating us. And I love that thoughts a month in, weeks in. Let's just keep checking in on each other. Let's see how we're all doing.
Great. And shall we just take 3 breaths together at the end to conclude? So again, you can lower your gaze or shut your eyes. Keep your feet firmly on the ground. If you're seated, and let's all take a breath in together and exhale it out, and another couple. Last one. Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rakhee. Thank you very much, everybody. Much love to you. Take care. Thank you.